because if you screw up one approach, you're either eating a bunch of percent or you're dead. And of course, Jahzz0 coming off of that insane run at Supernova just a couple months ago, getting top 8 at a tournament like that. Let's see how he fares in the state of Alabama here against Arkdee in winners quarters.
It's been 10 seconds and she hasn't nared yet. Never
there
mind. Never mind.
The quota has been reached.
We were so close. Ooh.
Yeah, again, as you mentioned, or as I mentioned earlier, just every time Arkdee is going to land in and it doesn't work out, Jahzz0's just going to get so much damage. It's going to rack up a lot.
And I already want to draw attention to that interaction. He parried how many hits of the first or second nair that Arkdee's done this game? Jahzz0's parries are crazy.
Yeah, no kidding. It is. When you're playing a character, I think like the Shotos, where you have kind of limited defensive options apart from that and focus, making sure that your parry game is on point is such an important aspect, especially because you've got those really fast punishes that you can do out of parries.
Look at the patience from both of these players. When Arkdee was in the corner, he doesn't want to make a bad overextension, and Jahzz0 just holding his ground, waiting for the opening. Okay.
Absolutely, yeah. Oh, really looking for the back air there on the ledge was Arkdee, but Jahzz0 able to just somehow will himself out of there.
Arkdee ready for the focus out of the corner, not pulling the trigger on that back air too early. Okay.
Absolutely. Another thing that I noticed too is that, Ken, just being a Shoto, has really, really good shield pressure, and that roll that Arkdee had to do, that wasn't just some willy-nilly roll or anything like that. He had to make 100% sure that he wouldn't have been caught by the auto turnaround on the down tilt. That's gonna be something he's really gonna have to look out for.
We can't specify enough. He is rolling for his life right now.
Yeah. Or as we saw in that last one, he jumped out and it managed to work out. He's gonna have to really mix up those options as well.
Because if you get caught in shield versus those mix-ups that Ken has, good luck, Charlie. Oh, if that was the second hit, that would have done so much shield damage.
Oh my gosh, and just sending her off and away into the blast zone right there. No fanfare, no sparks or anything like that, just goodbye. And of course there's
Arkdee answering right back I can do it too. Okay, how's he gonna land?
Okay, and then going for the Shoryuu early. Usually you see that for kills or whatever, but getting there, of course, the percent. Sometimes, it's just the best anti-air that you've got sometimes for any specific moment. And of course, now we got the Nair train coming in.
Nair, hey, back air.
It's like the water ice salt, Nair, hey.
Have you seen that one video on Twitter that's like, I'm gonna just Nair the whole thing? That's Palu players.
Now what's she gonna do now? Let's see.
Okay, that was a kind of although nothing huge happened, that was a scary situation for Arkdee. Getting up air to under a plat by Ken.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, those ladder combos are crazy. You see Jahzz0 really go for those ladder combos, and of course the unreliable multi-hit nature of Shoryuu, but of course he's gonna get that second one. That SDI out of the Shoryuu is so important.
Yes.
Even if it's a matter of, not getting hit by the last hit, sometimes just SDIing yourself into that sour spot to save yourself from getting killed. That's super important. That is such a huge, so huge to counterplay against Ken.
And to build on that, I want to give props to Jahzz0 here, because on the first combo he does up tilt procs jab Shoryuu, which you're able to SDI up and in, I believe, and pop out of it. But the second time he does down tilt Shoryuu, specifically to adapt to the SDI.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's again, it's so crazy, to see top players just adapting to such little things like that. But that's the privilege that we are having tonight. And here's a bunch of combos. This is a lot of damage. This is a lot of damage coming in from Jahzz0. Oh my God! If that had spiked, that would have been crazy.
How do you get off a ledge here? He just waited!
That was such a good wait, too. Even if it didn't work out for Jahzz0, that was such a good reaction.
Carry, okay.
Oh, and taking it across the stage. What a gentleman.
At the start of the stop, this game was even.
Yeah, it's, again, just Ken just being a Shoto, having that crazy advantage state. Jahzz0 just making the most of it right now. Almost going and getting the shield breaker right there. Again, that shield pressure, just some of the best in the game, really.
And now Arkdee just isn't allowed to shield in the corner, catches the jump, and that's going to do it. Jahzz0 taking game one, and even he's shaking his head at that one.
Yeah, something I've noticed throughout that game is that Arkdee's jumping a lot out of shield, and if you're playing Palu, it's pretty hard to avoid that, really, because, You've got really good air movement. You've got so many good aerials, like with like back air. That's also a really good defensive tool in some situations. But, you know, against a character like Ken, where, you know, you've got that really strong back air, or you've got Shoiryu to be able to catch jumps, that's just something that you have to be really careful of. You're going to have to be, like, if you're out of shield, especially if it's being, like, pressured, you're going to have to do more than just roll or jump. You're going to have to think of something.
See, one thing to build onto that, you know, you mentioned how like it's the back air versus the Shoiryu to catch the landings, to catch the jumps. You're going to see the Shoiryu as kind of like the higher risk, higher reward option, whereas the back air, you know, if they're in the corner, like it's relatively like low commitment, but if they're in the corner, they are probably dead.
Yeah, absolutely. That back air is really strong. It does have a little bit of lag on its own, but of course it's nothing to that Shoiryu. Like if you hit it right there, you're totally safe, of course, but you know, if you whiff it, you're eating a really big punish, especially against a character like Palu. They're definitely characters where you can just be like, okay, I can eat this punish. Like, you know, that's fine. Absolutely. But against a character like Palu who can rack up damage so fast, just like we're seeing right now, that is a risky proposition.
One thing I want to say is ever since I think the last stock of the last game, Jahzz0's been playing a little bit more confidently. You know, at the beginning, they were both playing so patient, kind of like getting onto each other's habits, but now it's more so like Jahzz0 is sort of in the driver's seat, playing a little bit faster.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, like Jahzz0, just again, as you said, in the driver's seat, in total control, with all that momentum. Even when Arkdee is finding advantage, it just feels like Jahzz0 is just like in a place where he knows exactly what to do at any given moment, and converts it into a big kill like that. Jahzz0 with all the momentum right now. The wind is in his sails.
Arkdee not out of it just yet, still is DIing that F-tilt properly, so you know, he's got some wind left in the sails, but he's gonna need something, and he needs it quick.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He needs, like, just something super quick. Again, like, if you're playing Palu, like, like, what could you even do? Like, you've got, like, Nair's off stage. As you said earlier, one of the last neutral warriors, but we're not seeing any neutral wins right now. A 3-stock from Jahzz0 in this game, too. How does Arkdee respond?
And one thing about that was so crazy is he ended that with up tilt in the back air. Generally, you want to SDI that away. Was that to catch the SDI out and like trick him into SDIing poorly?
Maybe it might have just been like a mix-up right there. It's just one of those top player things and those micro adjustments. But again, like, you know, going back to what you said before that first game, you know, if you're down a bunch as Palu, one of the less big neutral warriors really doesn't really have that X factor like what Ken does in terms of just being able to just sneak in those kills. So if you're gonna want to make a comeback as Palu, you have to really look for those kills, and that's just so huge in a comeback setting, you know?
This is a really interesting counterpick for Arkdee because on the one hand, the platform position gives him a lot of warp mix-ups, especially out of the corner, whereas on the other hand, this is tied for the lowest ceiling in the game, and you're fighting against Ken.
Yeah, absolutely.
So really interesting to see like which one of those two factors is going to be more prominent. And is Arkdee going to put his name on the board for this winner's Phase 3 qualifier? And Phase 3 is 4 top 16. So loser of this is guaranteed at least 17, but could very easily still make that top 16.
You're absolutely right. And going back to the low ceiling, as you mentioned, so many of Jahzz0's kills off the side have been off the side. With like back air or whatever. Ooh. And oh my goodness, what a nice counter there. Just a standard little, you know, gonna catch your recovery that has a hitbox on it. And you know, it's a good option. It's a really good option that we've kind of seen the more Ultimate's gone on.
And that was so deep too, like how low can you go?
Yeah, I was honestly kind of concerned for a second that Arkdee wasn't gonna make that back, but he is not making that one back as Jahzz0 gets that kill to even things back up.
I just want to make a point to say, do you know how good you have to be with back air in this matchup to be fighting against Palu and have us be commenting on your back air usage?
Yeah, no kidding. And it's not even just like a thing, like, you know, Palu's back air, you can kind of just throw it out. But with Ryu and Ken, as we're seeing here, like, you know, it's a pretty small window to land that back air. It doesn't last for like super long from my knowledge. So, you know, even if it's really strong, you have to know that it's gonna hit when you let it rip.
One thing that, oh my God, what? Cancel into Shoiryu.
That is insane.
And like we said, higher risk, higher reward if you jump above it.
Yeah, he's been charging that down smash at the ledge so much and just hard committing to that jump call out right there. You really see that at the top level.
And Arkdee by no means is playing this poorly whatsoever.
Absolutely not. It's just right now, it's just the Jahzz0 show, and it's full control. Sometimes you just legitimately just get diffed, and I think that's what we're seeing right now.
Okay, going for the down smash, looking for maybe another card cancel. Down smash.
That's got to be it. Yeah, not even close. Arkdee, it's unfortunately sent to loser's bracket. Jahzz0 a clean 3-0.
And that puts him into winners semis, I believe? Maybe winners quarters?
This was winners quarters, right?
Yeah, that was quarters because...
Here, I can look.
The next one is quarters.
The next one's quarters, okay.
Because in quarters, the lowest you can get is 9.
Oh, no, this is quarters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, Jahzz0 being sent to winners semifinals, of course.
Guaranteed at least 5th now.
Yeah. You know, he's really good player, obviously.